A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today, let us see what is enrichment. I have changed the format. We are going to start with the snippets here itself, not from the newspaper. Here itself, we are going to work on important snippets, first thing. After that, you are going to learn important words from today's editorial and also from the snippets. Then you are going to listen to editorial analysis. After that, questions based on the editorial and mini mocks, questions based on exam topics. That is the enrichment. Let us start with the first snippet. Valve malfunction, ISRO unable to raise orbit of navigation satellite. You can make out to some extent from the pic what exactly it means. Here you have valve, it's a technical term, malfunction. Good morning to all of you. The prefix MAL, usually it has a negative connotation. Based on that malfunction, something that went wrong. When something goes wrong, we use malfunction. You also know when it comes to students or exams, we use the word malpractice. That is mass copying, we use the word malpractice. You have to recollect. So what exactly happened because of this malfunction of valve? ISRO unable to raise orbit. We have got this word raise many a time. Immediately as a smart learner, you have to think of rise, rose, risen, raised. Unable to raise orbit of navigation satellite. It could not raise the orbit of a particular satellite. Which satellite is that? Navigation satellite. Navigation means going in a particular direction, finding the direction. Usually I tell students when you read the passage, to answer questions based on explicit information, all that you have to do, take the keywords in the question, navigate, means a passage, go to the passage, look for those keywords. Wherever you see those keywords, usually you find the answer over there. Navigation, not rise orbit, raise orbit. Here raise is a transitive verb. You should ask the question, raise what? Unable to raise, and I could not raise the standards. I could raise the standards. There is an object, then we have to use raise, not rise. That is a point here. Many a time, different competitive exams have given questions based on, more than 20 times, questions based on rise and raise. Many students cannot handle, but if you know grammar point of view, the difference between rise and raise, you can easily answer the questions. First step, UK to criminalize use of AI child abuse tools. There is one important news item here. First step, the first step taken by a particular country. Which country is that? The UK. Here when you see UK, you may wonder how come there is not there. But do remember, when it comes to headlines, when it comes to snippets, journalists, they don't follow grammar, they don't follow the rules. News is important, not grammar, because it's like a headline. Otherwise, we have to use the UK to criminalize use of AI child abuse. Abuse is an important word. Why is it important? It has three different meanings. Abuse, one meaning misuse. Usually it goes with power, misuse of power, but misuse of what here? AI child abuse. And abuse has another meaning. Another meaning of abuse, to shout at someone using foul language. Then we say he abused me. Means what? He shouted at me using bad language. And abuse, the third meaning in this context in a way relevant. What does it mean? To ill-treat someone. Exactly. Who is that Maleshwari? Ill-treat. I-L-L. Ill-treat. Usually it goes with a stepfather, stepmother. The stepmother abused the child. Abused the child, a combination. You have to learn all those things based on this. But it is also related to what? Artificial intelligence, a negative dimension, negative shade of AI. You may get the passage. AI today very important. Any important topic like religion, women, AI, space technology, so many dimensions. You should be proficient in all the dimensions, then you can answer the questions effortlessly. Here we have political uproar, an important word, uproar. Usually it goes with parliament. If you read the newspapers, you come across there was an uproar in the parliament. What does it mean? Noisy protest. Here, political uproar. LDF, UDF slammed Suresh Gopi's castiest remark, and here slam, we have got many a time, to criticize severely. Another meaning, to use force while closing a door. Don't slam the door, usually we say, but slam means criticize severely. Why was he slammed? Slam Suresh Gopi's castiest remark. He made a statement regarding clamor, also you can use Murli, very good. He made a statement regarding tribal welfare, who has to be appointed based on the caste, and based on that, an uproar, and people objected. He was slammed. Close review. Beyond tax cuts, a closer read of the union budget. Many of the measures lack rounded strategies. Usually we say grounded strategies, rounded strategies. Perhaps when we read the article, we understand. Perhaps they are talking about loose ends. Means certain things are missing. Some loopholes are there, lacunae. Based on that, perhaps this has been made. One has to read to understand. Otherwise, not possible. The last one goes with sports. Rain continues. I have given many a time, reigning champion. When it comes to cricket or tennis, we say, imagine last year Djokovic won a particular tournament, and this year he's playing. Then we use the expression, reigning champion, means current champion. And here reign continues, domination continues. India retains a women's under-19 World Cup. Retain, to hold back to something. India retains what? Women's under-19 World Cup. That is accomplishment, beyond any doubt, highly laudable. Let us go to today's editorial vocabulary. The very first one, an important word, not that important for regular students, it's a familiar word, an easy word. What is it? Seizure means, it has many meanings. Part of speech noun, meaning the act of taking something by force. You seize something means what? You take something using force. That meaning many students know. A legal or legal authority. But another meaning, a sudden occurrence such as a medical attack. It goes with medical field as well, health field as well. A different meaning altogether. Example, the seizure of journalist phones raised concerns about press freedom. See here again, raised what? You ask the question, raised concerns about what? The freedom of the journalist, about press freedom. Rise, rose, risen, irregular, intransitive. Raise, raised, raised, regular, transitive. Once you know that, you can easily handle. Word forms, seize, verb, seized, past form, seizing, present participle, rarely we use. Word combinations, seizure of power, of property, unlawful seizure, drug seizure. These are all the combinations one has to know. It goes with drugs as well. It also goes with contraband. What is the meaning of the word contraband? When goods are being smuggled and customs officials confiscate, then we use the term contraband. Word usage used in both legal, example property, and medical, epileptic seizure context. It goes with fainting, all those things. Medical field also we use. Synonyms, confiscation, I have just used a word. Appropriation, capture, takeover. Antonyms, release, surrender, a return, a restoration. When you see the word appropriation, you have to think of the opposite word. What is opposite of appropriation? Misappropriation. Misappropriation of property. Then we have to think of words like swindle, embezzle. Swindling of money, embezzlement of money, misappropriation of funds, misappropriation of money. And there's one important idiom you have to recollect. What is that idiom? Feather one's own nest. And all these words are very important. Whenever, as a smart, casual learner, you may stop there. But as a smart learner, the moment you get the trigger, the stimulus, the catalyst, You have to recollect the related words, the related forms, the related rules, and the word map. That helps in the long run. Important word. The next one is harass. Harass, harassment. Harass means what? Part of speech verb, obviously, a regular verb. To annoy, intimidate, or pressure someone persistently. More than annoy, we use words like intimidate, frighten. We also use put a lot of pressure on someone persistently. What does it mean persistently? Continuously. And what is the example here? The journalist complained that the police were trying to harass them with repeated questioning. Unfortunately, police are there to support someone when someone is being harassed. But a paradoxical situation, irony is, people are harassed by police. It's a general statement. Sometimes it does happen, but too general a statement to talk about the police department. But police harassment is something one doesn't want to face at any cost, not in the wildest dreams also. Here, police were trying to harass them with repeated questioning. Word forms, harassment, harassing, it could be adjective, it could be verb, harassed, past form. Word combinations, harass repeatedly. Workplace harassment important. Sexual harassment important. Legally harass. But generally it goes with rub someone on the wrong way. Naidu Paidi, you are there. And usually it goes with harassment at the workplace. Superior harasses the subordinate, a regular thing. Senior, junior, and also sexual harassment, a typical combination. It does happen at different places. Word usage, commonly used in legal and workplace contexts. Synonyms, intimidate, persecute. But the word persecute means bias or prejudice. Subtle difference. Intimidate is different, persecute is different. And pester, bother, torment. What happens here, words, they come under synonyms, but that you have to go one step above. There's something called in English word usage. We use the word pester, everyday English. Imagine a boy or a girl, a kid goes to the mother repeatedly for something. Then the mother is busy working. The mother may say, don't bother me, don't pester me. That is the context you have to know. And when it comes to intimidation, it goes in with a formal situation or an informal situation. Intimidation using power, using money, using language. When some people speak flawless English or impeccable English, others get intimidated. Goes with a different context altogether. And persecute goes with refugees, political asylum, and someone goes exodus and persecution in some other country, a different context. All these things are very important. Torment means to trouble, a different context again. Don't take casually, oh, these are all synonyms. It doesn't work that way. Pertain. Pertain means what? Relate to. Part of speech verb. Meaning to relate to or connected with something. Part of speech, a regular verb. The police were investigating matters that did not pertain to the actual crime. The police are supposed to touch whatever goes with a particular crime, but instead of that, they're touching other dimensions. There's one important idiom. What is that? Barking up the wrong tree. Have you heard of that any time? Bark the wrong tree means what? Not looking at the actual person, but looking at someone else as a criminal. Word forms, pertaining, present participle, pertained, past form, not tense. Word combinations that pertain to the case, pertain to the issue, directly pertain, rules that pertain to. It takes a preposition to. Word usage often used in formal and legal contexts. Synonyms, relate, concern, refer, apply, disconnect, detach, separate. Not exactly the opposite. Intrusive, intrusive, extrusive. Intrusive means what? Part of speech adjective. Causing disruption or discomfort by being unwelcome or overly personal. Sometimes what happens when we talk to others, we know there's a limit. Beyond that limit, we cannot ask questions. We cannot make the person feel uncomfortable, because you know, if you ask those questions, the person may feel a little uncomfortable. And you go beyond that. Then we use the word intrusive nature. In a way, it is probing nature. Example, the journalists were subjected to intrusive questioning by the police. If the police ask questions related to crime or a particular incident, nothing wrong. They go beyond that. Then we use the term intrusive. Word forms intrude, verb, intrusion, noun, intrusively, adverb. And based on this, you have to think of another noun, intrusion, noun, but another form is there. What is that? Intruder. Imagine there's a party or there's a house, someone enters without permission. What is the word for that particular person? We say he's an intruder. Intruder means someone who enters a particular place without permission. Word combinations, intrusive questioning, intrusive thoughts, intrusive nature, intrusive behavior, as I said, overly intrusive. Used in context where personal space, privacy, or boundaries are violated. This is what I was talking about precisely. You go beyond the limit, you touch the personal life of someone, then we use this word. Synonyms, invasive, unwelcome, nosy, prying. These are they go with informal English, not with formal English. Antonyms, respectful, discreet, unobtrusive. Discreet, an important word you have to remember. Inadvertently. Advertently means intentionally, deliberately. Inadvertently, by mistake, without thinking. Adverb, obviously, without intention, without thinking, accidentally. The FIR was inadvertently uploaded due to a technical glitch. Usually they are not supposed to upload FIRs. Imagine a particular FIR has been uploaded, not intentional, inadvertently. Means what? Without accidentally. That's what it means. A technical glitch, you all know, sometimes we delay the session and you see the message. What is it? Sorry for the delay due to a technical glitch. Means what? A temporary problem. That goes with because of the technology aspect. And FIR you have to recollect. Why is it important? It is important because though it begins with the letter F, a consonant letter, we have to say an FIR. That is very important. Word forms, inadvertent, inadvertence, noun form. Word combinations, inadvertently revealed information, shared information, exposed information. All these are important. Word usage, common in context involving mistakes, errors, or unintended actions. Synonyms, unintentionally, mistakenly, accidentally. Antonyms, deliberately, intentionally, purposely. Presume, assume, presume, in a way related, important word, part of speech verb, meaning. To assume something to be true without proof. You think something is true, but there is no proof. Then we use a term. Generally, we use the word assume, assumption. But here, presume also can be used. Example, the police presume that the journalists were involved in leaking the FIR. Someone uploaded the FIR inadvertently, but the police suspect the journalist. They think there is the hand of the journalist behind that. Word forms, presumption, presumptive, important word form. Presumptuous, this is also important. Word combinations, presume innocence, presume guilt, presume to be, legal presumption. All are important forms. Word usage, frequently used in legal, formal, and speculative context. Synonyms, assume, suppose, infer, speculate. Antonyms, doubt, question, disbelieve. Simple words. An FIR, yes, Murli, you have to recollect. Intimidation. Intimidation, an important word. What does it mean? The act of frightening or threatening someone to force them into submission. Example, the seizure of phones was seen as an act of intimidation against the press. Intimidation against someone, that preposition also you have to remember. Word forms, intimidate, intimidating, intimidated, intimidation. Word combinations, political intimidation, legal intimidation. Intimidation tactics, intimidation of a particular group, here journalists. Word usage commonly used in contexts involving coercion. Coercion means a force, law enforcement or bullying. That also means using force. Synonyms: coercion, threat, bullying, harassment, reassurance, encouragement, support, protection. That's all about editorial vocabulary. Let us go to today's editorial. What is it about? How does it start? Without warrant, on police action and journalists in Chennai. It is all about journalists, how they have been treated by the police, and based on that, it begins with without warrant. There are two meanings over here, and one meaning you all know, arrest warrant, but there's another meaning. What does it mean? I'll give an example, then perhaps you understand. The situation does not warrant an action like that. The situation does not warrant means what? Here it means demand. The situation does not demand an action like that. Unwarranted action means not required, unnecessary action, unwarranted. That meaning is entirely different. On police action and journalists in Chennai, editorial main idea: police seizure of journalist phones in Chennai is nothing but harassment. Police are not supposed to seize the phones of the journalists, but unfortunately they have done. And the editorial takes a stand and says it is nothing but harassment of the police and journalists being harassed. It amounts to that. Now the editorial has to tell us what exactly happened, why the journalists have been arrested or questioned or harassed, why their phones have been seized, all that information. The seizure of mobile phone from some journalists in the name of investigating how details of the first information report FIR pertaining to the rape committed on the Anna University campus in Chennai last December is wholly unwarranted and possibly illegal. Here we have the verb and the subject is this. All these words to add more information, more information. What do you mean by subtitles? That is not in my hands. I will talk to the technical team later. You want the subtitles? Wait for some time. If they are listening, they're watching, they'll do that. They'll provide the subtitles. But don't depend on subtitles. Try to understand based on, if you depend on subtitles, you're not listening in the real sense. You're using your visual thing. But listening is always better. There is a saying in English, what is it? It takes more intelligence to listen than to speak. Listening demands a different skill altogether, higher level when it comes to comprehension. The seizure is wholly unwarranted and possibly illegal. But all these words were adding more information, giving details regarding that particular thing. Now you have to ask, why is it wholly unwarranted and possibly illegal? Taking mobile phones from some journalists in the name of investigating something. Investigating what? A particular FIR related to rape that was committed on campus, an important expression here, on the Anna University campus. Regarding that, usually FIRs don't come into public, but in this context, a particular FIR related to rape on the campus, on the Anna University campus, came into public, and they suspected the journalist. Based on that, they acted, and the editor takes a stand and says it is not, it is unwarranted, and perhaps it is illegal. And why is this important on the Anna University campus? It is important because usually common error, a lot of people say in the campus. That is wrong. We have to say on the campus. And one more thing, a lot of people say when we ask a question, where do you live? Which floor are you? Then they say, I'm in the third floor. I'm in the fourth floor. That is impossible. That's a common error. We are supposed to say on the third floor, on the fourth floor. Same way, very good, Maleshwari. It also goes with in the outskirts, wrong, on the outskirts of a city. So it talks about what exactly happened, why they have been arrested or why they have been harassed, why their mobile phones have been seized. The Special Investigating Team, SIT, appointed by the Madras High Court to take over the probe, appears to believe that the source of the alleged disclosure could be media persons who may have downloaded the FIR from a national crime network database. There is a presumption by SIT. What is that presumption? They presume journalists must have done it and they must have downloaded from a particular source. That is their suspicion. They presume that. The special investigating team appointed by the Madras High Court to take over the probe, be in charge of the probe investigation, appears to believe, an important expression you have to remember, appears to believe, they seem to believe, they appear to be believe, he appears to believe that the source of the alleged disclosure could be media persons, could be. When do we use could be? This talks about a possibility, but the chances are less. He could be on the way, means possible, but the chances are less. In English, we have a few models. May we use to express possibility, more chances. Might, could, should we use to express possibility, but the chances are less. Based on that, could be. It could be media persons who may have downloaded, chances more, may have downloaded the FIR from a national crime network database. That is a presumption. What makes the episode an instance of harassment is that the journalists were subjected to intrusive and distasteful questioning. Fine, they presumed, they arrested, they seized the mobiles of the journalists. To that extent, it's okay. But what the editorial says, why do we use words like harassment? Because of they went beyond the limit. What is that beyond the limit? They were subjected to intrusive and distasteful questioning, means wrong questions, embarrassing questions, and in a way harassment. That amounts to harassment. And there's one important word over here, were subjected to. Past tense passive voice. You all know as students subject, which subject, a particular subject. But subject has other meanings as well. When it comes to a king in the past, the people we would use the word subjects, the subjects of the kingdom, means those who are ruled, one meaning. And subjected here means experience something, usually experience something bad. Subjected to intrusive and distasteful questioning, a different meaning altogether. Instead of probing how and why the FIR leaked, what are they supposed to do? They are supposed to find out why and how and why the FIR leaked. The SIT is trying to find out whether they had put it in the public domain. They are supposed to focus on how it has been leaked, why it has been leaked. That is one thing. But instead of that, they have touched the journalist and they are trying to find out whether they had put it in the public domain or not. That is not important. Who leaked it, that is important. They are touching the second one, not the first one. The High Court had already been told the FIR was inadvertently uploaded. Already the High Court had revealed the information that the FIR had been inadvertently uploaded. It was someone did it unintentionally or because of a technical issue, because of a technical glitch on the crime and criminal tracking network and systems before being taken down. Before being taken down, someone must have downloaded and they must have put it in the public domain. But who leaked it, that is important. The High Court had directed a departmental inquiry into the leaking of the FIR. The direction has now been stayed by the Supreme Court. High Court wanted to find out who did it, whether intentionally or intentionally, had directed a departmental inquiry into the leaking of the FIR. The direction has now been stayed, present perfect passive voice by the Supreme Court. What was the direction to find out the source of a departmental leak has been transformed into a roving inquiry as to why may have circulated in the public domain. The direction should have been finding out how it came into, who uploaded, whether inadvertently or advertently, and the focus should have been on that. But now the focus is on what was the direction to find out the source of a departmental leak has been transformed into, again, present perfect passive voice, a roving inquiry as to who may have circulated it in the public domain. Once it has been uploaded, someone must have downloaded and must have circulated. They are focusing on the second dimension, not the first dimension. Unless the reporters summoned by the police had themselves reported or posted details revealing the survivor's identity, there is no reason for seizing their phones. In this case, the reporters did not post anything, and had they posted, perhaps that would have been justified police action. But here, nothing of that sort happened. Unless the reporters summoned by the police had themselves reported or posted details revealing the survivor's identity, there is no reason for seizing their phones. Question is, why should they seize their phones? They did not reveal anything, they did not disclose anything. And here there is one important word, summoned, used as a verb. As a verb, it is not that important. Ask someone to appear in the court, summon. But as a noun, very important. Summons, singular. Summonses, plural. That plural form is very important. They have given many a time in different competitive exams. Based on the High Court referring to the alleged circulation of details about the survivor's identity, a separate FIR has been registered under Section 72 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which makes it an offence to publish any detail that may lead to the survivor's identity becoming known. We have new laws. According to that, we are not supposed to reveal the identity of the victim. Once we do it, we are liable to be punished. Sentence talks about that. Presumably, the SIT is trying to trace those who made such publication, but the real question is whether the details were actually published in any newspaper, TV channel or social media post. Had they published in all these sources, imagine, then they can be questioned, but that is not the thing. Presumably, the SIT is trying to trace those who made such publication. But the real question, what is the real question here? Whether the details were actually published in any newspaper, TV channel or social media post. Whether they have done it or not done it, nobody knows. That is the actual question. If such a disclosure existed, the police should be summoning those in charge of those outlets or handles instead of calling all those who downloaded the material from the internet. I think this is the main thing. When you read this sentence, you understand. They arrested those who downloaded the material. That is not acceptable. Here you can easily make out why the editorial has taken a stand and says all this amounts to something illegal. If such a disclosure existed, the police should be summoning those in charge of those outlets or handles. They have to call, imagine a particular newspaper, it has been published. They have to call the head of that particular newspaper, they have to question that person. Instead of that, what are they doing? Instead of calling all those who downloaded material from the internet. A larger question is whether the police have the blanket authority, an important idiom. Blanket authority means complete authority to seize mobile phones or devices without judicial authorization or any credible reason that an offence has been committed. When we take someone's phone, when we arrest someone, we need credible information to justify the act. Credible means believable. We can also use the word authentic. They have or not clear. The Supreme Court has already asked the Centre to frame guidelines for such seizures, including a need for a warrant and an element of proportionality. Some guidance has been given by the Supreme Court. An unguided power to seize phones threatens the privacy of individuals, and in the case of the media is a brazen intimidation tactic and an attempt to identify and harass their sources and an attack on freedom of expression. How does the editorial end? It takes a stand and says, doing something like this, taking phones of the journalists, the media people, it is brazen intimidation, an act of brazen intimidation. Brazen we have got many a time. What does it mean? Deliberate, shameless, Brazen means shameless. Exactly. Very good. Naidu Paidi. And intimidation tactic and an attempt to identify and harass their sources and an attack on freedom of expression. The police should not only return the seized phones immediately, but also return limit. After not only, but also we have to use the same word form. Not only return the seized phones immediately, but also limit the probe to specific instances of publication or disclosure of details that compromise the survivor's identity. They have to catch the actual person, not all those who downloaded. Where is it? This slide or previous slide? It is single R. I think it ends on that note. Now let us go to questions based on comprehension skill. I read the first one and try to answer. What is the main issue raised in the editorial regarding the police action against journalists? Journalists violated media ethics. At least one B, who is this Anant, within no time. The police have illegally seized the journalists' mobile phones without proper justification. Not exactly, not exactly. Answer is B. Very good. According to the editorial, why was the FIR related to the Anna University case available in public? How did the FIR come into public? According to the editorial. Please answer C. The journalist deliberately leaked? No. The police? No. It was inadvertently uploaded on a national crime database due to a technical glitch or a technical error clearly mentioned in the passage. Why does the editorial describe the police's actions as an instance of harassment? Editorial has used the word harassment. On what basis? 3B. The police refused to investigate? No. The journalists were subjected to intrusive questioning and had their phones seized. Intrusive questioning is nothing but harassment. Answer is B. Very good. These are all not relevant. What does the editorial suggest about the Supreme Court's stance on phone seizures? Supreme Court stance or Supreme Court stand? These are not relevant. Either A or B, but you got to be very careful. It is not A. The Supreme Court has stayed all investigations related to this case. No. Answer is B. What is B here? The Supreme Court has asked the government to frame guidelines for phone seizures. B is the answer, not A. You got to be a bit careful because it talks about a specific thing, specific dimension. It is not about the case, it is about a specific dimension, seizing the phones. What does the phrase roving inquiry imply about the police investigation? Important idiom, roving inquiry means what? Multiple crimes? No. Perhaps this is a bit difficult. Let us see whether, who is this? Pandu says 5B, Malleshwari also 5B. The investigation lacks focus and is being conducted broadly without clear direction. Seems okay. The police are interviewing several journalists. No. No. Answer has to be B. What fundamental right does the editorial emphasize is being violated? When they seize the phones of the journalist, a particular fundamental right is being violated. Which one is that? Oh, within no time. B. It is not right to education. It is right to privacy and freedom of expression. There are two dimensions over here. One goes with privacy. A mobile phone belongs to a person, something private. So it goes against privacy. And it also goes with the media, freedom of expression. That goes with the media. Now we have questions based on mini mocks based on exam topics. First one looks like a paragraph and no division as such, and intentionally have brought this way a lengthy sentence. Recently, IBPS and also RRB, they have given questions this way: a paragraph, and the candidates had to find out 2 or 3 errors. But here only one error. Question number 1, all this read carefully, meticulously. There's only one error. You have to find out that error. No parts, nothing. Which word is not correct? In place of that, what is the word we have to use? Or what is the expression we have to use? Very difficult. You got to read carefully. The mid-air collision between an American Airlines flight AA5342 or Bombardier CRJ700 regional jet with 64 passengers while on finals to runway 33 at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, and a US Army Sikorsky UH-60 helicopter and its 3-member crew has been described as a baffling accident in one of the most controlled portions of airspace in the world. No one has responded. Very difficult. Here, finals is not the right word. On final approach, what are we supposed to say? Final approach. Final approach to runway. That is the correct expression. We cannot use the word finals. No problem, not an easy one. Go to the next one. Exactly. Oh, Jayalakshmi, very good. Final approach. What does the phrase Swiss cheese model of accident causation mean? These questions are from Saturday's editorial, mind you. Swiss cheese model of accident causation. An accident occurring due to multiple safety breaches, aligning like holes in Swiss cheese. Because of the options, you can easily take elimination approach and choose. Answer is the first option. A is the answer. This is not correct, not correct, not correct. 2A, very good. Naidu, and who else? Sanjay also, wonderful. What does bristling with very accurate electronic aids mean? There's another important expression. Bristling with accurate, very accurate electronic aids. What does it mean? So many students have got it right. Sanjay, Naidu, Maleshwari, Likhita, Murli. Wonderful. 3 is what? Lacking proper technological support, operating in a malfunctioning mode, in need of urgent technological upgrades, no. Fully equipped with advanced electronic systems. B is the answer, very good. You guys got it right. Synonym. Choose a synonym of the word baffling. I was baffled. What does it mean? 4B, Naidu, first one to respond. Predictable, no. Transparent, no. Clarifying, no. Baffled means to confuse. Baffled, bewildered, perplexed, confused, they all mean the same. You have to recollect other important words like perplexed, bewildered, baffled. Very good. Who is that? Naidu has come up with those words. Choose the most appropriate word to complete the sentence meaningfully. This is perhaps a bit challenging. You got to read and understand the context only, then you can make out. With such varied aviation operations, and as a result, airport-specific procedures which include for noise abatement. Abate means to avoid in this context. No, which include equipment for noise abatement? No. Machinery for noise abatement? No. Devices? No. Maneuvers? Oh, wonderful. Who is this? Bukia. C is the answer, and also Bhavani. That's highly appreciable. Sanjay also. And Uday Kumar, Maleshwari. Wonderful. C is the answer. Not easy. Maneuver means you do something in a clever manner, skillfully. Do something skillfully in a dexterous manner. Match the phrases from column A with the appropriate meanings in column B. Unbroken visual means what? Continuous monitoring for safety. Bristling with aids, to be fully prepared with technology. Baffling accident, confusing and mysterious incident. So 1B, 2A, 3C. Answer is the first one. Baffling incident, we say usually. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched and try to work on important aspects always. That will help in the long run. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.